and good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this live streaming event. I'm Alessandro Marianantoni. I'm director of M-Accelerator, an accelerator program, actually a hybrid version of an accelerator incubator program for students, early stage and later stage founders. Today, we wanted to cover very important issues and emergencies and opportunities for small businesses, and in particular regards, of course, we are supporting our community of startups, and we have with us Julia Giarmoleo, affairs specialist at the SBA LA District Office. And Julia, would you want to start and describe the several opportunities and initiatives that Small Business Administration has for our community?
Of course, thank you. And I just want to say thank you so much, Alessandro and M-Accelerator, for having me here today. My name is Julia Giarmoleo. I'm the Public Affairs Specialist for the SBA's Los Angeles District Office. We cover LA, Santa Barbara, and Ventura counties, which is over 400,000 small businesses. And in the face of such a global crisis that is it's completely unprecedented, we're really focused on providing assistance and recovery options. So let me go ahead and start screen sharing. We do have quite a few resources. We offer resources for small businesses throughout the year. But we've expanded the availability of certain things in response to coronavirus because its effects have been so widespread. And there's so much information available and so many resources. And so we really want to focus on what we know, and we want to focus on what is available with the most accurate and up-to-date information. So I just kind of wanted to take everyone through what SBA has to offer, both in wake of this crisis and regularly. Our resources, our partners, our community of small business advocates, we're here and we're ready to assist. We're here to help. It's literally our jobs. It's congressionally mandated that we help the small business community overcome any challenges in general, and especially challenges created by our current health crisis. So in addition to what is regularly available through SBA, the CARES Act established several new temporary programs to help small businesses recover. And there, if you go to sba.gov, our main page, if you just click on Learn More, it takes you directly to the Coronavirus Small Business Guidance and Loan Resources. And it has a variety of options here. We'll go through the funding options first. And so we are offering, everyone's, I'm sure, heard of at this point, the Paycheck Protection Program. So the Paycheck Protection Program is a loan that's designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on the payroll. And this loan is forgivable if all employees are kept on the payroll for 8 weeks and the money is used for payroll, rent, mortgage interest, or utilities. You can apply through any existing SBA lender or through any federally insured depository institution, credit union. We know that there's a lot of challenges right now in accessing banks that are doing these kinds of loans, and we are working to address that. And in the meantime, what we can offer is if you go to sba.gov/paycheck protection/find, there's actually a search tool where you just put in your zip code and you can search for the lender that is closest to you. And each one of these has contact information. So you can just give them a call. If in general, a small business doesn't like the answers it's getting from lenders, or if they're just not happy with the situation, we really recommend you use this tool, find a different lender. This is a great time to find banks that are headquartered in Los Angeles that have the scope and the time to address your concerns. We also are offering the so in times of disaster, SBA offers an economic injury disaster loans, and specifically in response to coronavirus, we're offering what's called an economic injury disaster loan advance. So the economic injury disaster loan, or called EIDL, provides, it's a working capital loan that helps small businesses overcome the temporary loss of revenue and meet their regular and ordinary financial commitments that they are unable to meet as a direct result of the pandemic. Because of the issues we've seen with this pandemic, we have instituted the advance, and this is an advance of up to $10,000. And the amount of that advance is calculated on a case-by-case basis by number of employees. And the economic injury disaster loan, unlike the Paycheck Protection Program loan, actually is 100% processed through SBA. So to apply for that, you would go to SBA. You can click on Learn More on the website, and it'll take you to disasterloan.sba.gov, and you go through the application. It's pretty direct. It takes a couple hours at most to fill out, and it's definitely a great option if maybe you don't have payroll, you don't need payroll assistance, but you do need other financial recovery assistance. We are also offering the Bridge Loan Program. So this is actually a pilot program that allows small businesses that currently have a business relationship with an SBA Express lender to access up to $25,000. So these are loans that kind of help bridge the gap between a disbursement of an economic injury disaster loan and when the business needs funding immediately. So all of these programs are for any small business that meets SBA size standards, and that includes sole proprietorships, independent contractors, self-employed people, private nonprofit organizations, and 501c19 veterans organizations. Additionally to these programs, we are also offering debt relief. So if a small business has an existing SBA guaranteed 7A, 504, or microloan, SBA automatically is paying the principal, interest, and fees of those current loans. And we also automatically pay the principal, interest, and fees of any new 7A, 504, and microloans that are issued prior to September 27th of this year. So all of this information is available online, and it is a significant amount of information. I know it can be overwhelming. So what we offer throughout the year, but is I think particularly important to note in this time of crisis, is that we have a network of what we call our resource partners. And these are small business development centers, women's business centers, veterans business outreach centers, what's called SCORE mentors. SCORE stands for Senior Corps of Retired Executives. It's the largest volunteer network in the country. And they are available to meet virtually over the phone. And their entire job is to help small businesses succeed. So whether that be, they can help you prepare financial documents, they can help you shop for loans, they can help you navigate even finding out what resources are available or what would be the most beneficial for your specific case, both within the network of SBA resources and funding options, but also cities, counties, state, and other federal agencies. So it's really this incredible resource that is 100% free. It's funded through SBA, and that is available. So if you go to www.sba.gov/local-assistance, you can, well, hypothetically, oh, too many W's, I'm so sorry. It brings you to a search tool that's similar to that banking tool that we looked at earlier. You would just type in your zip code and hit search, and it'll bring up 900. It'll bring up the resource partners. Hypothetically, it'll bring up the resource partners that are closest to you. And they'll be in this format. You can visit their website. LA is particularly, we have over 10 small business development centers. And they're meeting with clients virtually, over the phone, over email, whatever kind of question you have. It's really an incredible resource to take advantage of. You can also visit your local district office. Like I said, we're always available. Here's a list of helpful resources, and it gives you all the contact information for us, the coronavirus page, our local district office page, and our social media pages. If you have questions about your disaster loan, it's handled through our Office of Disaster Assistance. And so you can call the 1-800 number. I know 1-800 numbers can be a bit discouraging, but it's a short phone tree, and then you do get to talk to a person, which I think is always helpful. And I know the wait times have been increased given the volume of calls we've been receiving. So I really recommend that people send an email to disaster customer service at sba.gov if you do have questions specifically related to the disaster loan program. For PPP questions or any other SBA funding or resource options, the district office is going to be the main resource for you. And we're here to answer any questions you may have. We're hosting daily dialogues every day where you can call in and get your questions answered. And you can always slide into our DMs on social media. Is there anything, do you have any questions or anything I didn't address that you wanted answered?
Yeah, Julia, it's a great presentation. As you said, there's a lot of resources, and probably, am I wrong, or this is one of the largest, let's say, support that the government put in place since many years, probably, right?
Yeah, this is actually, I mean, the level of this crisis, as I said, is, and as I think many people are saying, is unprecedented. This is the first time SBA has ever been able to extend disaster loans for a public health crisis. Generally, they are limited to what is more typically falls under the quote unquote disaster definition. And the CARES Act, the PPP program it's a very young program. There are issues, and we are working, people are working around the clock, both our lenders and SBA and Treasury, to address those issues. But the program is essentially 2 weeks old. It's the fastest turnaround of any relief program in history. And we have been able to approve over 400,000 loans for over $100 billion so far. The application did just open today for independent contractors and sole proprietors. So in addition to taking advantage of the resources and the importance of getting information for the source, I really want to emphasize that small business owners and entrepreneurs should apply now, because it is a finite amount of money that is available. It may be expended, but we're not, what we have now, we have to deal with what we know now. And we don't want any entrepreneurs or small business owners to disqualify themselves or not take advantage of a resource that could be beneficial because of some perceived technicality. So whether you're reaching out to a small business development center, to the district office, or to anyone to get assistance, we really want to encourage everyone to look at the options that are available and take action in pursuing those options. Especially within the startup community, you are all so self-motivated already. This is a great time to put that skill into recovery efforts.
And that's definitely true. Julia, would you like to go through the document? It's actually one of the simplest documents I've seen for loans and for support. I know that since last week, when Hannah interviewed you about the support disaster, there's new program in place. Would you like to show to screen share where to download the PDF and how the PDF looks like?
Yeah, of course. So again, on that sba.gov/coronavirus page, we can go through it from the beginning, because I know it can be, sometimes it can be a little confusing. So from sba.gov coronavirus, you're going to hit funding options, click here to learn more about SBA loan and debt relief options. You're going to click on PPP. And this is really, I mean, bookmark this web page, screen record, whatever you need from this. This is going to be an incredible resource for any small business owner or entrepreneur considering this program. So there's a frequently asked questions for lenders and borrowers. This is great if you need answers immediately and maybe you can't get a hold of a small business development center, or you're not getting the answer you need in the time frame you need it. This goes over a lot of commonly asked questions. It's also on the Treasury Department's website, and this is continuously updated. As new issues come up, the questions are included and answered on here. So once you've gone through those, if you wanted to look up the affiliation rules, which I know for the startup community are particularly important, they have been edited, the affiliation rules have been changed specifically or in response to coronavirus. So for example, faith-based organizations previously were not eligible for SBA 7A or 504 loans. However, in response to coronavirus, they now are eligible. So this is a really crucial thing to note, because if maybe you were self-disqualifying from accessing SBA funding because of the limitations or the restrictions or eligibility requirements that were in place previously, those have been changed specifically in response to the pandemic. So the interim final rule for applicable affiliation is going to be a good resource for you to look at to determine your own eligibility on a case-by-case basis. But still, reach out to those small business development centers, women's business centers, and the resource partner network, because you definitely don't want to shut yourself out of a program that just because of a misunderstanding or misinformation. This goes through the eligibility requirements, the details for forgiveness, and here is the borrower application form. So it's actually, we really streamlined the process to make this significantly easier for people to apply. Maybe people remember a couple weeks ago, there were significant issues with the application. So we worked really hard to address those and hopefully streamline the process a bit. And this application form is something you can take to your lender. You can look at it before you go to the lender, and a small business development center or resource partner can help you fill it out if you have questions or you see something that is perhaps not clear to you. So you would just go through business legal name, business address. It's important to note that on these first two questions, a lot of this is self-certified. So you want to make sure, once you're going to your lender, you want to make sure that you've answered the questions to the best of your knowledge, because in the interest of getting money out as soon as possible, like I said, we really streamline the application process. So we want to make sure that the more accurate the information that is provided to the lender from the get-go, the faster the application can proceed and the disbursement can as well.
Julia, can I ask you can I ask you something? I've been asked at least a couple of times from startups in our network how to calculate the payroll. I mean, it could be a technical question, but perhaps can you articulate a little bit what payroll costs cover in this document? Because this is applicable for also independent contractor and businesses, right?
Yeah, definitely. So this is pretty crucial, and I'm glad you asked, because providing an accurate calculation of payroll costs in this application is the responsibility of the borrower, and the borrower has to attest to the accuracy of these calculations. The lender will perform a good faith review in reasonable time of the calculations and the supporting documents requested, but we really want to emphasize that it is on the borrower to provide those costs, especially if they use a third-party payroll processor. So payroll in these situations can, well, there's a couple things. So the CARES Act excludes payroll costs of any employee that has compensation in excess of an annual salary of $100,000, and applies only to cash compensation. So payroll costs include costs for employee vacation, parental family medical sick leave, and the PPP loan application also includes, as you see on the screen, the lease and mortgage interest and utilities. And the other is really going to be on a case-by-case basis. So if you have any other expenses that you feel would fall under this platform, that will be determined, the eligibility of those will be determined by your specific lender. And that's why it becomes really crucial or helpful to have a small business development center or resource partner help you go through the application if you'd like, because they can kind of do a pre-screening and look at your business's financials and see kind of if there is anything else you could put under. Because you can apply for both the PPP loan and the economic injury disaster loan. We've gotten a lot of questions on whether one program excludes the other. So the only thing that would be excluded is duplication of benefits. But we really do want to encourage people to apply to all the programs that could be applicable. if you apply to PPP and you apply to EIDL, the only thing that you wouldn't get is that duplication of benefits. So if you had money in PPP going to payroll, you're not going to get that money in the economic injury disaster loan, but it can go towards other things. On the economic injury disaster loan side, any kind of working capital costs that you would have.
Yeah, for example, somebody could do both applications, and for one program it will cover payroll costs, and the other one, for example, the lease or the rent or other mortgages costs, right?
Exactly. Or if you have so you can't pay off a loan with the economic injury disaster loan, but you can use that money to make monthly payments on another existing loan, which is, I think, incredibly helpful. Any regular and mandatory financial obligations that you had in your business that aren't covered by PPP, economic injury disaster loan funds can be used towards those.
Yeah, sounds good. And just to reiterate, I think I was reading with one of our startups that we could also insert costs for independent contractors, but I'm not completely sure about it within the monthly amount for payroll. Did you know that? Did you have any tip on that?
Yes, sorry. So independent contractors, unfortunately, cannot be considered. An employer cannot file for payroll coverage for independent contractors. However, those independent contractors can apply for PPP or for economic injury disaster loans on their own. And that's an important distinction to make.
Okay, great. I believe that clarifies a lot.
Yeah, and that question is actually also available on that frequently asked questions, and it also within that frequently asked questions page gives you a note to the CFR that gives more guidance, and it also gives you a link to the Small Business Act, so you can see, if you wanted to kind of get into the brass tacks of it, you could see that there.
And there were also some of the questions we've been receiving while announcing this live stream with you regarding requirements for the part of these loans that will be forgivable, right? Can you articulate a little bit on the forgivable loans part of the overall Paycheck protection program or the other programs?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a couple forgivable aspects. So within the economic injury disaster loan advance, that up to 10K that is provided, that is forgivable. And it actually doesn't mention it here, but if you are approved for that advance that is up to $10,000, it's not automatically guaranteed you get $10,000. That is just the cap. That is 100% forgivable. And then if you go in terms of PPP, you do have to keep employees on payroll or quickly rehire them for 8 weeks. And those are the overall conditions of forgivability. There are a couple others that are determined on a case-by-case basis, and that would be, your lender would address those with you. It is also important to note, and so obviously the funds that are received, the loan will not be forgiven if you get the funds and then you use them for something that isn't payroll costs, interest and mortgage, and utilities. So you really have to make sure, again, that you are complying with the terms of your loan approval. And again, I know it's going to get so annoying because I'm going to say it 1,000 times, but the resource partners, once you get your loan approval, maybe you didn't use the resource partners yet, but they can help you make sure that you are abiding your P's and Q's. This is a federal loan a federally guaranteed loan that we're talking about. There's going to be some bureaucracy involved. You want to make sure that you are doing your part to ensure that you get that loan forgiven and you are getting the best result from your effort. Excuse me. And as it says here, so forgiveness will be reduced if full-time headcount declines or salaries and wages decrease. So if you had to let go of an employee because of the pandemic, if you rehire them, you have to rehire them on the an average of their salary the last year. Or unfortunately, then some of the percentage of forgiveness decreases. It is also important to note that the loan payments will be deferred for 6 months, and that the collateral and personal guarantees that are generally required have been totally waived.
I guess that definitely helps a lot. And another question, I mean, that Hannah was collecting is, as far as the programs, specifically perhaps to the Paycheck Protection Program, is there any priority that SBA is applying, or
the only priority is first come, first serve. And that's why, again, we really want to emphasize apply now. Like I said, it is at the moment, it is a finite amount of money that is available, and the application just opened today for independent contractors. So even if there's no detriment in applying. You can choose whether you accept the loan or not. Once you apply, you don't have to take the money if you're approved. You can always stop that process. But what we want to make sure is that entrepreneurs are putting in their requests so that you want to keep your options open all the time, but especially in a situation like this. So we definitely don't want to see people hesitating and then not being able to get access to the funds they need to stay in business. So whether you're reaching out to a resource partner or you're just calling the bank and not going in, dear God, but if you're calling the bank and getting information about the loan, or looking at the lender application online, or calling the district office, take advantage of these resources. Like I said, we're here to help when you have questions. I know several of the people on our lender relations team have helped people go through the application themselves. So there really are a myriad of resources. And because, like I said, it is a finite amount of money, there's a finite amount of resources right now. You really want to make sure that you're taking advantage of what's available as soon as possible.
That's great. What about because of this definitely urgencies and crisis? I mean, what a small business owner should do if the application gets rejected?
So if the application gets declined, there's a couple options. If it's a PPP application, work with the lender will provide you a reason for decline. And you can either appeal the decision with your lender, or again, you can go to a resource partner and they can help you address the issues for your decline. Let's say it's a cash flow issue or it's a credit issue. They can help navigate rebuilding your credit or appealing that decision. If it's an economic injury disaster loan, you can actually appeal it directly with the SBA Office of Disaster Assistance up to 3 times. They will ask for some supporting documentation. Your congressional office is a great resource in these situations too, because they can provide you with some advocacy services in terms of interacting with the SBA as a federal agency as well.
Sounds great. I don't have, at the moment, I don't have other questions from our audience. And I believe that we provided great research, great material for startups and small businesses. Julia, is there any other aspect you like to reiterate, or?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've said it 1,000 times, and I thank you all for your patience, but really there's 3 things. Make sure you're getting your information from the source. We've seen an enormous amount of fraud, and I was talking to Haned about this last week. We've seen a lot of fraud and scamming around this. People saying that there's a deadline, that the deadline to apply for these programs is tomorrow, and or that people offering their service, people asking to be paid to help borrowers fill out loan applications, both for economic injury disaster loans and PPP. I really want to reiterate that you should not be paying anyone to fill out your application for you. In addition to not being legal, it also is, the Resource Partner Network is there to help you do that. Lenders can help you fill it out as well. The district office can help you fill it out. You should not have to reach into your own pocket to get access to these resources. And when you're getting information, if you're looking, make sure you're looking at a federal website. All federal websites end in .gov. There's an enormous amount of information, and it can be hard to navigate. So then my second point would be to take advantage of the Resource Partner Network. They can help you with any of your questions over the phone, via email. The SCORE network is available across the country. You can call any small business development center. We actually have one in downtown LA called Bixel Exchange that focuses on innovation and technology startups. So they're a great resource as well, because like I said, they can help you navigate SBA programs, but also whatever other programs might be available that could be beneficial for you specifically. And the last thing would be to just apply as soon as you can, as soon as it's feasible for you. Make sure you're taking advantage of what's available at the moment. Options are always a good thing, and we definitely don't want to see people self-excluding themselves from helpful resources.
I believe, yeah, there are especially in Los Angeles, if I remember correctly, there's one business every 200 residents. So yeah, definitely a lot of work, a lot of applicants. And I was reading the numbers. There are hundreds of thousands of people already applying for these opportunity loans. So great help to the community, Julia, with this information. I think unless there's anything else you'd like to add, I think I'm going to close. I'm closing the live stream. I believe we provided great information for our community, and feel free to keep using the comments or reaching out if we can help in any way. But we also going to put in the comments and in the description of the video post here the links that Julia showcased during the demo, essentially. So I thank you, everyone. Thank you, in particularly Julia Giarmoleo from the Small Business Administration, the Los Angeles office, for this opportunity today, and everybody else that was attending and will be watching this video online. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alessandro and M Accelerator. Have a good day.